All right, we're going to shift all the graphs that you guys know. So hopefully you guys remember all the shapes, okay? And then we shift the graphs. We're going to do vertical, which is up or down, horizontal, side to side, and reflecting over the x-axis, okay? So quick review of the parent graphs. So a lot of times, you guys, this doesn't have a grid on it. You definitely need a grid now that we're shifting it. Like when you guys were matching them, there was no grid. You do need to know, like for this one, this lovely parabola, that the vertex is at 0, 0, and then it's an upward positive parabola. So there's your x squared graph, okay? Because what's going to shift is this point that's at 0, 0. All right, and then the x cubed graph, again, you need a point at 0, 0, and you rise right, fall left. That's the x cubed graph, okay? And then the absolute value graph looks like what? A V, and the point, the vertex, okay, has to be at 0, 0. That's what's going to shift here in a minute. And then the square root graph starts also at 0, 0, and looks like that. Okay, so we're going to shift our graphs from that point at 0, 0. We're going to start with vertical shifts, which are up and down. If the number, the constant, is outside of the function, you are going to move it up or down. If it's inside the function, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute, you're going to move it left or right. Okay, so this right here is outside of the function, and so it's going to move the graph up 1 because it's plus 1. All right, so I have x squared, which is the parabola, and I'm going to shift it up 1 and draw a graph. Okay, then I've got this x cubed graph, and I'm going to shift it up 1 because it's positive. So you're going to put a point up here, and then you're going to rise right and fall left. So I'm shifting it from the origin up 1, from 0, 0, up 1, okay? All right, now I've got h of x equals the square root of x minus 1. It's outside of the function. Inside of the function would look like this, by the way, on that one. Okay, but it's outside of the function, but it's minus 1. Which way do you think we're shifting? Good, it's negative, so down 1. So it's the square root graph shifted down 1. So start at 0, 0, go down 1, okay? And then we've got our absolute value graph shifted down 1. So again, start with the vertex. That was not very straight, but there you go. And make a V, down 1. Okay, I'm not going to be super picky on points. Like a lot of times, sometimes we make you do other points on like algebra 2, but for now, just the general shape and show me where the vertex pretty much shifted, okay? All right, now let's do horizontal shifts. So these shifts are always inside of the function. That's how I know it's horizontal. So notice the difference here is it's inside the square, this x minus 1. Okay, instead of being outside of the square, like this right here is a shift down 1, but if it's inside of the function in the parentheses, it shifts it left or right, but these are always opposite. In other words, minus 1 is usually left, okay, because it goes negative on the x-axis, but these ones always go opposite, so this actually means we are going to shift this graph right 1. Okay, so this is an x squared graph shifted right 1. Okay, so for this one, we have x minus 2. It's inside of the function, okay? It's under the house. Which way do you think this is going to go? Right 2. Okay, it's opposite of what you think. So I'm going to go right 2, and this is the square root graph. All right, now I've got inside the function, it's plus 3. Which way is this going to go? Left 3. Good. This is the cube graph. So I start at 0, 0, I shift left 3, and I rise right, and I fall left because it's the cubed graph. All right, and which way is this going to shift? Left 4. All right, and it's the absolute value graph. So I'm going to go over 4 and draw a V because it's the absolute value graph. Okay. Now I've got a negative in the front. So if there's a negative in the front of the function, It reflects over the x-axis. We've kind of already done these. So if it's a negative x squared, it's still at 0, 0, but it reflects down, okay? And I have a negative x cubed. This cube graph used to rise right. Now it's going to fall right and rise left. Okay, so it reflected over the x-axis. This is the square root graph, but with a negative in front, and so it's reflecting over the x-axis, goes down. And again, the square root, or the absolute value graph, the v graph, but downward, reflects over the x-axis. Okay, now we're going to combine everything. All right, this is f of x equals a times f of x minus h plus k. This is a generic function. Okay, the a, if negative, makes it go down. Okay, in the future, if the a is like a 2, it makes it more skinny. And if it's a 1/2, it makes it more wide. But we won't do those in Algebra 1. It can change like the width of the graph. Okay. And then this part right here moves it left, right, always opposite, and the plus k is the up or down part that's outside of the function. So let's combine and do a couple of things, okay? What kind of graph is this? What shape? Yep, it's absolute value, so it's a v, okay? The x plus 3 that's inside of the function does what? Left 3, yep. And the minus 2 on the outside does what? Down 2. All right, so start at the origin, okay? And you're going to go left 3, down 2, and you're going to draw an upward V, okay? All right, let's try a few of these on the whiteboards. Grab the side of your whiteboard that has the grid, if you have a grid. Most of them do.